So we have a pound of brisket, a pound of ribs, the chorizo sausage, the jalapeno cheddar sausage, mac and cheese. Then we have a half a pound of pulled pork and a half a pound of pork belly burnt ends.
One of the reasons I think why we started Muñoz was Texas-style barbecue growing up wasn't easily found in Los Angeles. And I think what Muñoz has evolved into being is always keeping that Texas-style barbecue tradition alive. But in a way, you know, there's so much LA soul in our food.
To be able to do it in our city on this scale is special to us.
Are you craving barbecue?
Brisket, ribs, and sausage, that is the Trinity, and I think we do it really well. Outside of the Trinity, we'll do a pork belly, but the pork belly will have a Korean sticky glaze. That's definitely something LA has a lot of, and when we were thinking of different flavors, like we tried that and it really worked.
When we bring them back up, we do it for about 30 to 45 minutes just to kind of get temperature and a little bit more color. And then we'll put this glaze on them. This is our house-made Korean glaze. The mop itself, I feels like not only does it hold a lot of sauce, but it spreads evenly. It kind of lets it have like a little bit of a drip effect. We let it set real nice, get a glaze, a little bit of a drip on the side so that there's a little bit of Korean sauce flavor on the sides of the belly as well.
We've got an insane amount of good Korean barbecue style here in LA. So that's how those pork bellies got inspired. Then I said, you know what? Let's throw that in some kimchi fried rice and combine the two and mesh those flavors together. So we're gonna do the kimchi fried rice. This is a rice that we make that's a special only. So we're gonna sear some of this pork belly. It's seasoned the exact same way we do our pork belly burnt ends. So it's got that Korean seasoning spice that we make in-house. Pork belly is nice and smoky. We're able to source really good quality kimchi. And this is another Korean chili paste. It's very thick, tons of flavor, very umami. We like to keep things extra spicy here at Muñoz. As a Mexican girl, I love my chili. It pairs so nice. I mean, obviously it complements our pork belly, but it complements the whole train itself.
Barbecue is very important. You want to make sure you get your meats down right, but to me it's like if you go to a barbecue joint and the sides are like not so good, it's kind of a letdown. I'm glad I have my wife in my corner because she's really creative with sides.
And that's it, guys. This is our kimchi fried rice. It'll be served with fresh scallions and toasted sesame seeds.
I mean, who doesn't like kimchi fried in rice with pork belly thrown in there with some smokiness, some fattiness? It's really good. Yeah, so my oldest friends, they call me Moo. It started in high school. So when we were doing the barbecue thing and we were trying to come up with a name, I wanted it everything other than Moo, and Moo just worked. And
it was fate.
Since sophomore year of high school, it was all destined to be. So these are chickens. Put them in a pretty simple wet brine for about 24 hours. We'll take them out, put them on wire racks just to kind of air out the skin a little bit and let that dry out. This is already, I guess, the third day of the process. So this is a chicken quarter. It's a leg and thigh, essentially all dark meat. You can hit it with a lot of heat. It's pretty forgiving. You can take it further than you think, and you know it's just gonna be super tender. Unlike ribs, if chicken is like falling off the bone, I love that. And then you also want to get it with enough heat so that you properly cook the skin. Growing up is like some of the barbecue that I was eating. When you go to like different barbecue spots throughout LA, you know, it was always saucy, always sticky. Back in the day, like barbecue sauces, especially when you would oversaturate your meats with it was kind of to cover it up. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to make a really nice product with some of those inspirations from the past. They're ready to go, so we'll take these back outside and get them on our direct cooker. And we have a direct heat cooker here, so you get different flavors. You got the coals directly underneath, so once that chicken starts dripping those fatty juices, those coals will spark up that smoke and it gives you a completely different taste. So we'll let them go like this, 30, 40, 50 minutes, maybe an hour. It just really depends on the temp once we close it. Essentially, we're just looking for a nice golden color, nothing too crazy. We're looking for the skin to dry out a little bit, and then we'll flip them because we want to definitely get some direct coal heat on the skin to blister it up just a little bit, kind of help it cook through so that it's nice and easy to eat. People like that backyard grilled, charry chicken. Texas style barbecue specifically is kind of don't hide the meat, quality beef, pork, or chicken, or whatever protein you're using. So these are Harris Ranch briskets. Harris Ranch is based out of central Northern California. It has nice marbling, and we trim aggressively, and this is what we use all the byproduct for our sausage. A raw brisket, anywhere between like 15 and 18 pounds. If they're bigger than that, I'm a little upset because I don't want them that big, but 15, 16 pounds is kind of a sweet spot for me. We'll put them in a bin. You can season it by hand, different ways to do it, but we like to do it this way. This way we don't have a lot of waste, a lot of rub all over the table. It's essentially salt, pepper. We get our pepper from a company out in Texas. We're using the same stuff a lot of these guys are using.
We also have become a zero waste type of restaurant. I mean, a lot of what we do on our menu comes from other parts. When we opened up, we realized, well, there's only so much sausage we can make, and we have so many briskets that we have to prepare. What are we gonna do with all this trim? There's only so much sausage that we can store. The Leroy and Lewis burger really inspired us. I think Evan Leroy, I mean, we admire him so much. I know so many of us in the barbecue community look up to him. His burger is fantastic.
The seasoning is basically just a house seasoning. We try to keep it classic to like a brisket. So we try to keep the brisket seasoning and the burger seasoning as close as possible. It's a little different just because we want the burgers to have a little bit more pop than the brisket meat itself. So these will go on the smoker. I'll start it up, and then as the fire's starting, I like to let the burgers get a nice cold smoke on them, a nice really thick smoke, so that the flavor really permeates throughout the burger.
We really didn't think much about it when we put it on the menu, other than like, okay, great, this is just another way to like repurpose and utilize this beautiful brisket. We keep it very simple, very classic. It's a smoked patty, all ground brisket, salt, pepper, our signature dressing, which is like a horseradish type aioli sauce, raw onions, American cheese.
We were inspired by what Evan does. He's been here, he's had one. He was like, this tastes familiar, even though it's a little different. These are two of our sausage. We kind of do them in batches. So on this, our verde sausage is 5 roasted poblano Oaxaca cheese. Honestly, it's probably our best selling sausage, and these are looking like they're pretty good and ready to come off the cold smoke. So we'll kind of cook them through at a low temp. We're just trying to cook them through, get the casings nice and dried out, and also trying to keep like the fats and the cheeses kind of intact. We put them in the ice bath one to freeze the cooking process. We don't really want to take them much further than where they're at now. So that'll definitely shock them. It also helps the skins. You shock the skins when you reheat them. It definitely makes it a nice snappy bite. So I used to be an underwriter, corporate world, did professional liability for hospital systems. Because of that, I spent some time in Texas. I had a legit like beef rib. So that's where it started. I just like instantly got bit because I never had anything like that. I was at work in my cubicle, I could say it now, but I was like drawing out my smoker and how I wanted to do it, and then I'd have like, 3 monitors. So one would be emails, one would be a spreadsheet, and then the other one would be like a barbecue blog. And she had the crazy idea of like, let's do a pop-up. And then Farley Elliott at Eater LA reached out and said, I love what you guys are doing.
It's delicious.
I want to write a story, but let's think about it because it could get crazy. And it got crazy. And we're here today, so yeah. All right, so those chickens that we put on about an hour and a half ago now, they're pretty good. We sauced them once. The glaze is set. We like to make it extra saucy and sticky. If you look on the back side of the chicken, you keep it clean, but you can see it picked up all the color, whether it's your first time or your 10th time. We try to repeat the process to make it consistent every time. Right now, we're about like 6 or 7 hours in on this brisket cook. Adrian will come in, he's our afternoon guy. He's pretty much a quiet machine back here. He's just putting a little bit of foil on the back end so that they don't get too crispy. We want a nice barky brisket, but we also want them to be soft on the sides when they're done.
They're in something called the stall, so they're pushing that moisture out. They've reached a point where they're not gonna climb anymore until I start ramping the heat up. So it's basically like they're sweating and they're cooling themselves down right now. So in order to get through that, you have to start ramping it up. And when we're ramping the heat up, that's why I want to protect all these points. Hopefully we get through that stall and finish these guys up by 1 or 2 o'clock.
We have Adrian and we have Frank. Both of those guys are leads, 2 of our leads at the restaurant, and they're pit leads, so they run our pits, they kind of make sure our orders come in. But Frank, Frank's been with us since before the restaurant. He's our OG employee. He's been with us 5 years, we've been open for 4.
Moose is here today because of
our team.
Our teams. When people think of Moose, they automatically always think of the owners and the operators and the people who are always front, but everyone has a hand in the tray that you're enjoying at Moose. A lot of the side dishes that I make here, I hope to tell a story. We make a really hearty country gravy. We have a ton of beef tallow from all of the trimmings from the brisket. We save that. That is our liquid gold. We use that beef tallow as the fat to make the roux, so it's equal beef tallow with flour. The gravy is homage to my grandmother. I lost my grandmother 2 years ago, and I just brought the gravy on the menu, I want to say maybe like 3 months ago or so, so it's fairly new, and I always wanted to bring it on. And as soon as it's ready, we'll incorporate all of that delicious ground smoked meat. So instead of it being crispy fried papas like my grandma used to make, we're serving it with really crispy tater tots. So you're getting this really rich, meaty, smoky gravy that's creamy, and then you're pouring it over this papas that are super crispy. It's delicious, like it's literally a meal in itself.
All right, so let's take a look at these briskets. They've been kind of rolling along. I think we're about 11 hours, 12 hours in right now. So if you look at these guys, they're picking up really nice color. They're definitely barking, and you can tell when they get done because they're just like super pliable, right? They're super relaxed. So we'll take this guy off and we just bring them over here. And essentially once they're done, we put them on a sheet like that. Just put a good amount of tallow on them. One, add a little bit of fat back into it. And then two, just so that the sticky fat doesn't stick to the foil. So that when you open it up for service, it doesn't peel it off, right? And then once it starts dropping, once it gets to like the 160 range, then we'll put them on inside the warmer, and those will be ready for the next day.
So we're 20 minutes out right now, getting these ready for service. These are sausages that were cold smoked yesterday. Rested them overnight in the walk-in. And the whole point of that is just to continue to dry out that casing. We end up with a nice snappy case. So we are blasting them for service right now. We cook them at about 275, 280. We're trying to render that fat now. And what happens is that fat, when it renders out, it starts to fry the casing from the inside. And that's how you end up with a nice snappy sausage after a 3-day process. I'm pulling these chickens now. It looks like the glaze is set real nice on them. Almost like a nice paint job. Over here in LA, we like our sweet sticky chicken. So we're gonna be open in about 15 minutes. Give them a nice little rest. Be ready to go.
All right. Hey guys, welcome. Hi guys, thanks for coming in.
How are you doing today?
So we have a pound of brisket, a pound of ribs, the chorizo sausage, the jalapeno cheddar sausage, mac and cheese. Then we have a half a pound of pulled pork and a half a pound of pork belly burnt ends.
This is now LA's backyard. You know, we did our backyard pop-up. This is how we started at our home in East LA, like literally strangers coming into our house. Now this is everyone's backyard.
Yeah, we want them to feel like we invited them to
home.
our backyard just like we did all those years ago, and you know, have different music playing, something fun. You know, we have a crazy beers selection, so we want people to literally have that backyard experience. Grab a nice cold one, get your brisket, get your beef rib, get your smoky chicken, or whatever you're feeling for that day.
When I think of LA barbecue, Moose Craft, without a doubt.